So one of the questions that comes up on a regular basis is why do we use planning in the ideal learning process? And specifically, we're talking about business today. So we want to give you some insight into that to help you in the learning process. Interdisciplinary education, application learning is the ideal learning process. And so part of the thought process here is that uh, you use learning in the you use planning in the learning process because you actually are working with processes on a regular basis. Processes help you understand how the structure works and how you should operate within that structure. And this leads to your ability, or in some cases, inability, to be able to manage your work, the personnel, your time. So you can see you're starting to formulate even a framework for yourself and how you develop. You have to be opportunity centric so that you can leverage your strengths against competitive weakness, or to try to develop your weaknesses in the long term. And then utilizing critical thinking. And what critical thinking does, it helps you leverage your decision making skills, which you should formulate. So planning helps us do this. And we get all of this almost in a mix of things when we're pulling them together in the learning environment. So to look at what's important, it's important that we establish and develop our communication skills. We put ourselves in a ability or a position to be able to facilitate things well. We enable our negotiation skills, and then we find ourselves in the position to ultimately implement. These things are important. These interpersonal skills are extremely important in the learning process, and they actually come up, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, as we learn in the planning portion of how we pull all of your lessons together. What else happens here? You're able to spot problems early. You can even identify stress points, and again, not just personally but professionally, maybe possibly for your organization. You're able to forecast, which is extremely important in the business world. And then, last but not least, you get a good understanding of the financials, the accounting, the ability to be able to understand the numbers. So if you're looking at business planning learning, it really, we boil it down to three key pieces that are important for you in this learning process. One, competition. There's constantly competition in the marketplace, and even for those who are students in the education institution realm. Your work is in your prep. So the reason we pull planning into this as a way to learn these lessons is because there's a tremendous amount of preparatory work, which is synonymous with planning. And then you get the opportunity to hone your skills, whether they be intrapersonal or interpersonal. That's extremely important in this process. So here is your thought for the day. There are two mistakes one can make on the road to truth: not going all the way and not getting started.